Open! Damn it, open!
Hey everyone! Welcome once again to another Crime Seek Reviews. And this time we are looking at War for Cybertron Kingdom Leader Class Ultra Magnus. As you can see here, he's got some upgrades or changes in his design comparing it to the Siege version. So he's the same size, he's a leader class figure, and most of his parts and design is the same as the Siege version, but they did some changes with regards to some parts of him. And here's Siege Ultra Magnus for comparison. As you can see here, and I will show you the slight differences that they did with this figure. We should start from the head. As you can see, the head sculpt is different. The Kingdom Ultra Magnus is more of a G1, like the one in the 1986 movie when he first appeared. He's got that like Ray-Ban eyeglasses. Whereas with the Siege, he's more based on the current animation. You can see also with regards to the shoulder stacks, see the design there is different. The chest piece is also different. It's more in a homage to the G1 toy. And some of his shoulder parts has been simplified with less details. And also his missiles on the shoulder is also different. And as you can see here, his guns on the side of the Siege version doesn't come with the Kingdom. Those two guns on the side of his legs that you attach. But his main weapon is the same, except that it's different in color. And also some paint apps that's different, with additional or less color on the Kingdom. And his waist part is also different design now. So yeah, so he's more of a simplified Ultra Magnus, but it's more based on like its Earth mode. But the arms or the wrist armor is the same. Whereas with the legs, with the Kingdom, there's more solid or less holes in the side of his legs. But boy, I love the way that they did or they take on the wheels. Those wheels are very nice. It's even better than the Earthrise wheels of Optimus Prime. It's got those wide wheels that you normally see with trucks and heavy equipment. So yeah, you can also attach the gun on the side of his legs as well, because it's got a port there. So let's put him back in the Siege, and let's open up their chests. So you can see if you open up the chest of the Kingdom, you can see the truck cab. That's more of an Earth form compared to the Cybertronian cab with Siege. As we all know, well, the Siege is the Cybertronian truck, and the Kingdom is now based on the Earth mode truck that we are familiar with regards to Ultra Magnus's alt form, even in G1. So yeah, you can see here the slight differences. It's more simplified actually. There's more details on the Siege, but they really did well with the design of this alternate figure or update on this figure. He kind of reminds me of MP22, you know, the Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, in a smaller version though. But as you can see here, turning them around, as you can see the details or the differences from the back. And as you can see, the red is also a bit darker compared to the Siege version. It's a bit of a darker red as well. And he also has that butt flap, same as with a Masterpiece. I think that they had that as well. But yeah, he looks like a small Masterpiece to me. Kind of reminds me of a Masterpiece on a smaller version though. So he's a really good update with Ultra Magnus. I'm sure if you guys are a fan of Ultra Magnus, you would want this to add to your collection as well. And you might finally have to give up on your Siege figure just to get an update on him. But for me, I think I'm gonna keep them both because I love them, even with the Cybertronian version. So with the Siege version, that would be my figure for the War for Cybertron series. And for the Kingdom one, it's probably going to be the homage for my G1 characters. Because I'm not sure if they're even going to show Ultra Magnus or bring him back to life with the Kingdom series. So yeah, and here they are in their plain prime modes or Ultra Magnus, an armored guy, or as an armored figure. As you can see here, my Kingdom figure is has a pure white or brighter white, if you may call it. And I don't know if it's because of time or the Siege one has faded already. But you can see the details on the chest. So it's the Kingdom. It's got a darker blue color with a simplified chest version. So it's just got a window in it. And just transparent tinted blue windows. Whereas with the Siege, I like the details with regards to the silver that's on beneath. Yeah, the silver color there that's beneath the windshield with a transparent tinted blue as well. So the Siege version has a better details when it comes to the chest, but with the Kingdom, since he's the Earth mode version. So yeah, so you can also slide the bumper upwards and the wheel on the front wheels upwards on his back. So as you can see here, this is the proper way for him in his white Ultra Magnus form. So you can see here, basically it's the same with the legs and the arms, and the parts are all the same. The only major changes here is the chest part. So there. And as you can see also with the mask of Ultra Magnus, the Kingdom has a darker light blue compared to the Siege version. And his forehead is painted silver gray, whereas with the Siege it's blue. And his grill is also dark gray. There you go. And there, and the wheels as well, which is my favorite upgrade in this part. Doesn't have the colored lights on the top of the roof of the truck, but they made a better version of the Autobot logo with the Siege version because it's got that silver lining on the Autobot logo, whereas with the Kingdom it's just plain red logo. Basically it's the same weight as well, based on figuring in my hands. Not much difference. So now let's try to transform Kingdom Ultra Magnus into his alt form, which is the Earth Truck mode. So as usual, same transformation with Siege. You bring down the front bumper, you swing out the arm so you can rotate the torso, and then you push the torso forwards. Of course, you put the head inside of his chest, and you just slide up these legs and fold those heels support, and then fold the arms inwards and clip it on the back of Ultra Magnus, and fold his elbows as well. And it's easy as that. You have your Earth form cab or truck. So we're comparing it with the Siege version, which is a Cybertronian truck, which is kind of awkward for me because of that gap behind the front wheels. And here they are, side by side. So you can see there. I really wish they tried to hide the arms on the back of the cab. In front, a futuristic looking truck from Siege. It's not really that bad. See, some minor changes as well. So now we'll try to transform his armor into the car carrier of Ultra Magnus. Let's put them all there. Put the cab on the side. Fold these out for the leg part. Snap it off and spread these apart and make sure that they're all spread apart. And on the left leg as well, same idea. Parts forming robot. As you can see there, you can attach them together. Then you start with fold these armors, or then you spread this part of the torso of Ultra Magnus as well, Open up that part of the chest. Remove the missiles. And then open these tabs. Put them together, the shoulder stacks. It's funny that they call this shoulder stacks. And it's a bit weird that we all know that Ultra Magnus was also voiced by a person named Stack, which is Robert Stack. So now we put this on top of it here. You make sure that you slide it. There's a pegs that hold it together there. So now we have the top part of the car carrier. And comparing it with the Siege version. So first we bring out the armors the same place as where we did with the Siege version as well. So you put those, what do you call that? And then with the shoulder stacks, you don't have to put the top part of it and attach it on the rear part of the legs. This time you have to just clip it in the center of the car carrier, like this way. So there's a gap for it, so that when you attach the cab, so let's put the missiles first on the side, and I will show you that you don't have to push the cab thoroughly inwards when you attach him in the car carrier. So as usual, we attach the center that's holding the legs of the cab. Put it there. There's some slight adjustments. There. And then there are tabs that holds it on the sides of the cab as well. Just clip it there. And clip the other side. So as you can see, it's not totally flushed in compared to the Siege version. So it's a bit longer. You attach the weapon on the top. And if we are going to look at him, there's his Ultra Magnus in his car carrier mode. A very G1-esque look. If he had that ramp on the rear side of the car transport, he would pretty much really close to the Masterpiece version. But sadly, he's simplified in this part. So, yep. And here's Siege version of the car carrier. As I've said a while ago, Siege version is a bit shorter compared to the Kingdom version. As you can see, because the cab is not totally flushed in, and there's a gap on the rear part of the car carrier, as you can see here. So there, it's a good comparison to it. So Siege car carrier is a bit shorter compared to the Kingdom version. Basically still the same parts, and the car carrier has more solid sides to it. And as I've said, the wheels really did a good update on this figure. So those hollow sides compared to the Siege, and more solid ones in the Kingdom. And as you can see, the missiles as well, you can also attach the guns on the side of the Kingdom if you want to. But you can see the difference here. The missiles is different. The missile design is more simplified. Same back of the car carrier. Doesn't have any ramp. Same look of the feet as well. Much simplified ramp covering. And if you look on the top part of it, so you see the difference in the color of the red. It's basically the same design still. So there. So here also rolls perfectly. You can add the Autobot cars on top of him as a car carrier. That is his purpose. So we have here 1986 movie Studio Series Cup. And just like in the bumper ads of Ultra Magnus, Cup was on top of him. And here we have Hot Rod as well. So you can fit in 2 Autobot cars on top of him. Sadly, you can't put anyone inside of the car carrier. So yep, he pretty holds very nice with this new line of figures. I don't know if they're going to release another version of him in the Studio Series, but he can hold this. This figure can hold it. It's just too bad that the arms and the cab they weren't able to hide it. That was a missed opportunity for me. But overall, he's a good alt mode. So here's Cup again, on top, doing a piggyback ride and a hot rod. And here he is back in his robot mode. So it's the same articulation with that of Siege, same head movement. You can also rotate the waist if you want to. Just make sure you lift this part in the back so you can rotate him. Lift this part, doesn't get in the way. So yeah, he has waist rotation. Snap him back in. And then his legs also move forward. It's ratcheted, doesn't move that much on the back because there's this front bumper getting in the way. It's got some slightly knee folding and some ankle tilts as well, slight ankle tilt. So there. And here he is with Optimus Prime, which I recently got some upgrades with his weaponry. It's a very long iron cannon or iron blaster. So it's basically the same size as I've said before with the Siege version. And here's the size with comparison to Voyager version of Hot Rod and Deluxe version of Cup. See, just for size comparison. There you go. At first I was hesitant in getting this figure, but since Project Usano and Bad Boy Store in Vietnam offered me this and sent it to me, I'm glad I did. Got a hold of the figure because it's really an upgrade with the Siege version, and it really has that G1 homage in my impression. It's like a small masterpiece, as I've said. It's really good figure. Even the parts like the joints and the pegs are a bit stiffer or tighter compared to the Siege. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my video once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys.